Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today's topic is very much interesting. As you can see on the board, it is going to be on blockchain. Friends, it sounds very complex, but it is not that much complex. So I'll try to make it easier for you to understand the concept of blockchain technology. So let's get started. First, there are a lot of definitions about blockchain, but in simpler form we can say an advanced database mechanism that allows transparent information sharing within a business network. Here are two important things. One, first, the transparent information sharing within a business network. So there is a network of business where you can share the information, but that sharing is transparent. Here you can take the meaning of transparent as an open information, sharing of open information to everyone within that network. So friends, here in blockchain you can see there are two words, first block and second is chain. So in simpler word we can say that it is the chain of blocks that contains the information. So here the transparent information, we can say it is the open information, or simply we can say a decentralized information mean, which means everyone have the authority within that business network. Every single person have the authority to access the information rather than the admin or the person who created or generated that information. That means the access of information is up to every single person in that network. Okay, let's take an example. For example, you must be familiar of the social media groups like Facebook group or WhatsApp group. In those groups, every member of the group can access the content or the information that has been shared in the group. Similarly, in blockchain technology, every single information is accessed by every single person in that network. So friend, blockchain technology was implemented in 2009 in a form of Bitcoin. Okay, let's have a much clear concept. Let's take another example of blockchain and how we can implement blockchain. Okay, let's consider there is a sale of property where there are two parties. One is this buyer and the other one is the seller. And once the exchange of money, the authority or the ownership is provided to the seller, and the transaction are being made, and the seller is the owner of that property. But in this scenario, no one can be trusted. How? Like the seller can claim they do not receive the money, or even if they have received the money earlier. And in second scenario, the buyer can equally argue that they didn't pay the money, or even they haven't paid it. They say that buyer can say I have paid the money but they haven't paid it, or in other case the seller can say that I haven't received the money but it have received the money earlier. So in this scenario there is a biggest issue of trust, and to resolve such issue we can say that to avoid this much of potential legal issue, a third trusted party must be introduced, or that trusted party should supervise and validate the transaction. But friends, as you all know, we are living in a world where corruption is so common. Unfortunately, we can say that corruption is so much common. So even that third party is not being trusted. So the trust issue remains the same. But in case of blockchain technology, we can say with the help of blockchain, this issue is resolved, as the blockchain provides a decentralized system. And how this decentralized system has been created? It creates the ledgers. You know the ledger. Ledger is you can say it's a book which contains all the records of the transaction and data. Every single thing is, or you can say the total information about the transaction that has been saved. It is in the form of ledger. So by the help of blockchain, the blockchain contains ledgers for each party, and all the transactions are approved by every single person. That means the buyer or the seller. And when both parties approved that, the changes and the transactions are being made on that basis. And when the changes and transactions are being made, that is also updated on the ledger. So in this way, the transaction is being made very smooth and can be trusted. So this is an example of blockchain, that you can make transactions and that can be trusted. As I have mentioned the word ledger in my example that I have given earlier, so here the ledger is the block. In blockchain technology, we say the ledger is the block. Now coming to words, and let us understand what is actually a block is. So a block is composed of three things, that is data, hash and hash of previous. So in case of data is any sort of information or data, and it depends upon the type. Whatever type is of the data. For example, in case of our earlier example, there is a transaction made between the buyer and the seller. So that means like who made the transaction and to whom. Such sort of information, that is in the form of data. Number second is the important factor, that is hash. So friends, as our fingerprint is unique, it cannot be copied. Similarly, you can say a unique code that has been generated and cannot be copied is a hash. So we can say hash is a code, but that code is a unique code. So the block consists of data, that means the transactions or the information, then hash, that is the unique code, and the important factor, that is the hash of previous. It also contains the hash of the previous block. So friends, by these factors, the block is made very secure. That means the information or the data that is once written on the block cannot be changed. I will tell you how it cannot be changed, but let me just quote another thing up here. The very first block, as it is the first block and it doesn't contain the information or the hash of the previous block, that block is known as Genesis block. So friend, as the data is or information is first written into the block, that cannot be changed in the form of hash, as the hash is the unique code that cannot be changed. Even if someone tried to change that code, or if they want to change in the information or the data in the block, that can be identified very easily, as a change in single block can detach this block to the rest of the chain as the hash is manipulated. Because once you made a change in the data or in the change block in the block, the hash has been manipulated, and in this scenario changes are to be made in throughout the chain, which is not possible as there are too many blocks. Moreover, blockchain technology slows down the creation of new blocks. Blockchain technology has a very advanced feature, that means it slows down the creation of new block, which means the creation of new blocks are very much time consuming. It almost take up to 10 minutes to create a new block. So we can say it is totally impossible for a person to make a change, as there are a lot of blocks in there. So if someone have to make a change in a block, everyone must approve that change. Otherwise, it is impossible for a single person to make a change. So you have learned that how the data is being secured in the form of blockchain. The second factor is, as it is the decentralized network, so, or you can say the distributed network. So if a change has to be made, that means the change need to be approved by every single party. If everyone approve that change, then the change has been made in that block or the information. So it is highly secure, as no one can change or delete the data inside the block. So let's just summarize the topic or may come to the conclusion. In as we have understand the concept of blockchain, we can say that it is basically of three important things. Number one is the collection of records, that is in the form of blocks that are linked with each other, that made a chain, and strongly resistant to alteration because it is distributed. As it is distributed and everyone has an open access to that information, so it cannot be alterated. So in this scenario, the information stored in a block is highly secure. And friends, Bitcoin is the example of blockchain technology. Other coins are also being, other currencies are also being introduced, but the very first was Bitcoin, that was implemented in 2009. Hope you have understand the basic concept of blockchain. As we go deeper into the their details, that topic become complex, but that need to be shared in other videos, in detailed videos. But today I just try to cover up the basic concept of blockchain. Hope this video will be informative for you. So if you like this video, please do share, like and subscribe to my channel. And we will meet in the next video. Till then, take good care of yourselves and stay blessed.